Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I have a spurt of energy and I've been feeling rather sick, so I am going to power through what I can right now for videos. I am in a onesie, my hair's a mess, but I give no excuses and no apologies. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna review When I First Knew by Joan Alden. This book is amazing. It's an autobiography. It is phenomenal. Joan, oh my gosh, I am in love with you. You have made my day. About Joan when she was younger, and I believe it's from the ages of 8 on. So it's 1951 to 1957. So it's her core years of when she's starting to figure out who she is. And this book blew my mind. I went through bullying as a child, but holy crap. Joan, my dear, you went through bullying from your family, from your friends, from people that you didn't know, from people that you knew. There were parts in this that broke my heart, parts in this that just made me sob uncontrollably. Maybe I'm overreacting and completely being hypersensitive. That is okay, because all I did was respond to it. And so in this book, generally, Joan is just starting to come to terms with the fact that her sexuality is different than that of those around her. Now, she's growing up in the 50s, and in the 50s, being called a lesbian was just either something you were a terrible human for being, or it was not something you talked about. So she was growing up in a world where she literally was not allowed to be her own self. And that is awful. No child should grow up feeling that they are not allowed to be themselves. No, I've been trying for 2 weeks now to get my head wrapped around this and to try and figure out how to review this in an honest way. And the only way I can honestly review this is to just hammer home that the way that Joan was treated is not okay. The way that she was shunned is not okay. The way that she felt lost is not okay. No child, this day and age, that day and age, any day and age, should ever grow up feeling as if their choice and their feelings, sexually or otherwise, are inappropriate and that they are bad for feeling that way. The matter is, she feels different from day one with her family. She feels weird. Her mother's constantly accusing her of hypersensitivity to things that are not being hypersensitive. They're things that her siblings were literally just being jerks about. The way she describes having to wear certain clothes and feeling awkward in them and kind of just icky and wrong. It was very familiar to me in certain other ways, but not like this. This was above and beyond what I was expecting. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was important. The title itself, When I First Knew, it echoes that question that I feel like every transgender, homosexual that looks different to the outside world and that they believe is a choice, that they're asked, when did you first know you were different? There's no reason to ask that question, because there shouldn't be a when did you first know. It should just be, you are who you are and you're accepted. This book kind of shook me and made me realize I need to step out of my comfort zone and try and find a little more LGBTQ friendly fiction. But I'm so focused on the mental illness factor that I actually do come across LGBTQ stories quite frequently, but from a very different point than this. This was a survival story. This was a strong story. This was a story about somebody who was who they were and continues to be who they are and learned that they were okay as they were. This is not every story. This is a really strong, wonderful story, yes, but there are children out there still who feel that they have to answer when did you first know for reasons that are unfair. And that's not okay. No child should be forced to feel like they're different because they have some feeling that is actually very natural to them. They're not different. They're normal. They're normal as themselves, and that needs to be accepted. And here I am. I guess that you would say I'm heterosexual. And I guess you could say that I have no actual relation to this, but I have parts and alters that are homosexual. I have a young girl. She's 13. She's gay, and she was a big fan of this book. She really loved it. I think she read it more than I did. I would love to hear her thoughts on it, but I don't feel comfortable yet letting her talk on camera. She's very, very blunt, and extremely defensive about her lifestyle. She's extremely defensive, and she knows that in our home, at home with my parents, she is accepted and she is loved, but she feels very determined to change everybody else's opinion out there, so it's a little wonky. I think that this book really woke me up to this world where I didn't know that I was missing such a chunk of literature. Because I didn't want to just read LGBTQ fiction that was written by people that are heterosexual and are trying to put themselves in the position, because I wanted to read it from an honest place, and I found that in this. So I'm going to try and track down more like this, more honest depictions where I'm hearing it from a person who understands and knows it. I'm not looking for somebody to give me their opinion of what it might be like to feel different. That's not helpful. That's not worth anything to me. That's seems unfair to somebody like Joan. I feel like it's important to hear Joan, not to hear someone talk about Joan or to hear someone pretend to be Joan. Do you know what I mean? I feel like her story should be told by her, just like every other person's story should be told by them, not by somebody else's outside of them telling their story because they're normal so people will listen. I think, yeah, I think that would be my end result on this, is I need to reach out and find more LGBTQ fiction and works and memoirs that are actually from the LGBTQ community. I think that's my end result here. Alright guys, this has been my book review of When I First Knew, and this is by Joan Alden. It's a book that I received for review from Dog Ear Publishing. You need to read it and make your own decision, because I think this book is extremely important, and I really loved it. And you guys gotta look at the art, like, so wonderful. Alright guys, I will see you in my next video.